Who is stopping you from being a better person? Who is stopping you from attaining every single one of the goals that you have? It's you. It's nobody else but you. And instead of blaming life, your family, or God for the life that you are living and the choices that you're currently making, take control of your life and decide that you want a change. So initially in this video, I was going to talk about how to be productive. I know with September coming and students are going back to school, it's going to look a little bit differently than it normally does. A lot of people's education is now going to be online instead of in person. And so as I started to think more about quarantine, I started to think more about mental health, self-love, positivity, and overall happiness. Now, this isn't going to be a cliched version of a step-by-step guide that you would do in order to achieve happiness. This is going to be a very raw and unfiltered video, straight from my heart about how I actually feel. I think that happiness is something that a lot of people want, but unfortunately I feel as though very few people succeed at attaining it. We all have this perfect vision of happiness in our heads, but what does happiness really look like? Is it how much money you have, how many friends you have in your life, how often you go partying, the way that people perceive you, how much power you have? I think happiness comes from within. I think in order to be happy about our lives, we need to first be happy with ourselves and the people who we are. I think that if we're not happy with the person that we've become, then we'll be unable to find true happiness, because if you're not content with the person that you are, how are you going to be happy with the life that you live? I don't think that happiness is a destination. I think that happiness is a daily process that you do to meet yourself where you're at in order to improve yourself. Happiness is a daily task that fluctuates. One day I think that happiness can be getting a raise, and another day I think that happiness can be just relaxing, lying in bed all day with a new fresh set of sheets in your bed while watching Netflix and eating ice cream. It starts with how you feel about yourself on your brightest and darkest days. It starts with taking care of yourself and watering your roots when you need it, because you yourself is the most important person that you have in your life. You need to be caring for yourself, prioritizing wellness, prioritizing self-love, discovering yourself, and learning new things about yourself in order for you to be truly happy. Being happy is more than just the things that you do. It's how you feel. And a lot of the time people are unable to separate these two things because they think, oh, if I go to the gym, or I go for a run, or I go and hang out with my friends, or I go and see my family once every 2 weeks, that I'll be happy. But that's not true. I know a lot of people, myself included, have struggled a lot in quarantine. I'm a very outgoing individual where I need to be surrounded by other people to get my energy. With social interactions taken away, it was really difficult for me to find the motivation to do anything. And honestly, a lot of days went by where I felt very negatively on myself for not doing much. I felt like I was wasting my days away, but I have been able to touch base with friends and family when I have been able to, and a lot of people have said that they've been stuck in similar situations. And I find it's so easy when people are stuck inside their house, not doing much, bored day in, day out, that it's very easy to think negatively on yourself, who you are, and your stagnancies. And I think now more than ever, it is so important to be practicing self-love, because now is a time where a lot of people are very fragile, a lot more fragile than they have been in the past, because while in isolation, a lot of insecurities come out in places where you don't normally feel insecure about your life. I was watching some videos a few days ago, and there was this really interesting video that I fell on, and it was from a specific guru, and he was mentioning that the problems in our lives are not external, the problems in our lives are found internally. And basically this means it's not what happens to you, but how you react to the things that happen to you. For example, if you're driving down the road and somebody cuts in front of you really quickly, instead of thinking, wow, what a jackass, instead you can think, maybe that person's in a rush, maybe they're going to a family emergency, maybe somebody got into an accident. That's the way how I like to think, because when I put myself in their potential situations, then I start to practice empathy and compassion, and I tend to let things go a lot easier. I know self-affirmations are something that have really helped me lately. The one that I am really stuck to right now is live and let live. This is a huge one to go by, because if you yourself want to feel comfortable and confident in doing the things that you want to do, then why are you not reacting the same when other people choose to live the lives that they want to and make the decisions that they want to and say the things that they want to? Negative self-thoughts is something that I've struggled with for a long time, but it's not really something that I started to really notice affecting my life until quarantine. Because again, when you're stuck inside all day and you're not really doing much, you tend to ruminate more. Now, ruminating is when you obsessively think about something over and over and over again. Now, it's not like, oh, I'm thinking about the orange juice that I'm going to drink tomorrow morning. No, I mean, you obsess over all of the negative things that could happen, the what ifs, the things that people said to you, the things that people did to you, the things that happened to you that you didn't necessarily like. Now, when you focus on a lot of the negative things that have happened in your life or happened to you, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, because you're disallowing yourself to heal, live the life that you want to, and find happiness. When you ruminate over a past version of yourself, this also keeps you in the past instead of the present and focusing on the future. If you want to move forward and truly be happy, you need to forgive yourself for the things that you've done, the person that you were, the things that happened to you. You have to forgive yourself for all of it. All of us have things that have happened in our past that we're not too proud about, but instead of focusing on the negativities of your past, thank yourself. Now, there is a huge difference between thinking that the current situation that you're in is a bad one than there is from ruminating over it. Thinking that your current situation is not a good situation will allow you to better yourself and improve. But when you ruminate on your current situation or something about yourself that you don't like, or something that happened to you, you don't allow yourself to get past your current way of feeling. And so it's okay to say you hate your job, or it's okay to say you're upset with the current situation that you're in. But it's not okay to disable yourself to the point where you're unable to improve. We need to learn to be kinder to ourselves, accept ourselves the way that we are, appreciate our weaknesses and the things that we need to work on, and allow ourselves to just be. It's so easy to get caught up in the negative things that have happened to us, but really when you start to think about it, who is stopping you from becoming a better person? Who is stopping you from attaining every single one of the goals that you have? Who is stopping you from healing that relationship that has been scarred for so many years? Who is stopping you from healing your past traumas? It's you. It's nobody else but you. And instead of blaming life, your family, or God for the life that you are living and the choices that you're currently making, take control of your life and decide that you want a change. And while in quarantine, I know this can seem like a very big leap and something that's extremely unattainable, but it's really not. Healing a relationship with a family member can be as simple as a phone call, calling them and checking in with them to make sure that they're okay. Or maybe it's something bigger like improving yourself, improving on who you are in a specific aspect of yourself that you find as a weakness. And if it's something like that, self-reflection is really something that has helped me improve the parts of myself that I think I need to personally work on. Now, that doesn't mean that I have these really negative, dark sides to myself. That just means that everybody has something that they need to work on. Everybody has imperfections, everybody has weaknesses, but that doesn't mean that we're bad people. That just means that we're imperfect beings. But that's what makes us all so extravagant and beautiful. It's so easy for me when I don't have to do anything during a day, for me to get up at 7 a.m., but then 5 p.m. comes and I look at the day and I think of, what did I do all day? And when I can't actually think of anything that I did during the day, I get so down on myself. I get down on myself because I feel like I wasted my entire day and I didn't accomplish anything. Not every day can be a productive day, and that's something that I struggle with at times, and I know a lot of other people struggle with it too. Especially while in quarantine, this is something that we need to be easier on ourselves about. Because it isn't going to be every single day where we're checking everything off our chore list or checking every single thing off our to-do list. There's going to be days where we're just going to sit there and watch Netflix because that is normal. We need to normalize days where we don't accomplish everything or anything at all. We need to normalize days where we don't get out of bed until the afternoon because we felt so drained. But when it becomes something that is a daily occurrence, that's where you really need to reflect why you believe that is happening. Something that really helps me is writing down every single thing during the day that I accomplish that might not necessarily be checking something off my to-do list. So when it's my skincare routine, making my bed, taking my vitamins, having breakfast, doing my dishes, cleaning up around the house, journaling, doing yoga, anything like that are little tiny things. Now they're not necessarily big things, but when they're small things, you count them as little wins. And those wins on days where you feel completely drained are going to feel like huge successes, even though they're little tiny things that you completed in a day. I don't think that happiness is a destination that you arrive at. I think happiness is how you feel about where you are. And I think that we can all benefit from being kinder and more patient with our current situations. Another important thing that I found very useful when I was being hard on myself and having negative thoughts was to give my negative thoughts a name. By giving my negative thoughts a name, it allowed me to separate it from myself. Ultimately, it allows you to believe and understand that those negative thoughts that you're having are not in your best interest. And when you take the power away from those negative thoughts, it will allow you to separate your proactive way of thinking from your negative thoughts. When we begin to change our views on what happiness truly is, I think that we will become more happy and content in the lives that we live, because we'll be at more peace with how we feel. I wanted to have a very candid, open, and honest discussion with you guys about this topic because I think a lot of people get it wrong. I think that being vulnerable is such an important and strong thing to do, and that when we begin to empower each other to work on ourselves, that we will be a lot stronger leaders and encourage change beyond what we could have ever believed. I encourage you to find the ways that you feel when you're happy, and I also encourage you to acknowledge and understand the ways that you feel when you're unhappy and discontent. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a like and a comment down below, and please subscribe to my channel. I think that being kinder and patient with ourselves will allow us to truly live the lives that we dream of and allow us to be more confident and content within our skins. Thanks for watching today, guys. Bye.